Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 15 star powers and gadgets in the game right now. So a lot of star powers don't really change in terms of how strong they are, but the meta evolves, and some brawlers you really need a particular star power or gadget for them to thrive. So before we jump into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Getting close to 300k subscribers, I appreciate you guys. And without further ado, let's jump into the star powers then. So starting off with Brawl. So Brawl's introduction to the meta is thanks to a couple of healing elements with his kit, and it's got to be with his medical use star power. Healing for nearly 500 every single shot allows you just to get so much pressure and allows you to win so many different interactions. Next up, we have 8-bit star power, boosted booster. So I love this star power, but it's very meta right now in the bounty meta, because once you get the lead, you could just camp with this turret, giving you a 50% extra range with your turret and more damage. It just means that you and your team are unkillable when you just sat behind this turret. Next up, we have Piper's star power, snappy sniping. So this is always a really strong one. 0.4 ammo with every shot you hit, and it pairs with both of her gadgets, so it's just essential. Next star power you must absolutely buy this season. It is Frank's star power, power grab. So this was always a decent star power, but it was just a problem that Frank was trash. He could never confirm kills before, but now he kills everybody, so it means he gets a 50% damage boost pretty much all of the time, dealing up to 4k damage per shot. So this star power is definitely needed. Next, we have business resilience with Griff. So every 2 seconds he heals for 15% of his missing HP. This essentially makes Griff really strong because he can just keep on shooting and keep on healing. There's not really a lot of brawlers like that in the game without like heal gadgets, so essentially Griff is just so good on the map because of this star power. Next, we have push it with Colette. So this star power has always been good into tanks, but I just think more so now than ever, it's the only way that you can push these OP brawlers out of your face and delete them, especially brawlers like Frank. So you need this star power. Next, we have in my sights with Mandy. So this quickens her projectile speed by 20% and her super projectile speed. It was always needed with Mandy, but because Mandy was never that meta of a brawler, never really recommended too much to get it, but now she's one of the best brawlers in the game, so I definitely recommend getting it. So next up, we have Angelo's star power, Empower. So it heals him for 600 per second within his super, so it's essential for the way you play Angelo. So it got indirectly nerfed though, because Angelo cycles super now with 3 big hits instead of 2, but it's still a very valuable star power. Without it, I feel like Angelo would actually be pretty trash. Next up, we have Berry's star power. Floor is fine. So whenever you stand over your puddle, you'll get a 50% increase in your reload speed, which, you know, with Berry, he has a very slow reload speed, and the way that you play Berry, you pretty much always want to stand within your own puddle. I think this is one of the best star powers in the game. Next up, we have Magic Puffs with Jean. So this star power is always one of the best, but because of the meta and also the rank modifiers, it's made this star power even better, and it just makes him a really good threat in knockout and bounty, because you can always keep up the pressure with you and your team with constant healing. So next up, we have Malaise with Byron. So essentially you're stopping all of the health regen from an opponent when you super them for like 10 seconds, which is insane. And the reason why it's even better, because it really counters kit compositions once you throw it on kit when he's attached to an opponent, and also just counters all of the tanks. You know, Frank, Meg, Lily, they're all high HP, so just throw supers galore and Malaise is going to get so much value. Next up, we have Hypothermia with Lose. So it reduces up to 50% of the opponent's damage depending on how frozen they are. So I feel like this is essential, especially because you've got like Frank, all of his big damage brawlers at the top, so Lou and Hypothermia just helps tone him down a little bit. It's such a good star power. Next up, we have Bellomania with Chester. So this star power was always needed anyway, so you should probably have it by now, but if you haven't, you need it because it gets an additional 200% damage with his first bell, which is the main reason why Chester's good, because it means that he's always dealing upwards of 2000 damage with his attacks. So next we have Draco's star power, Shredding. So whenever you use your super, you heal for 2700, which isn't a lot of healing, but the reason why it's so good is because you're 1 HP a lot of the time, especially with the last stand gadget. So the combination with the gadget and this star power is essential for survival and just constantly chaining. Next we have Buzz's star power, Eyes Sharp. So it increases his automatic supercharging radius by 33%, which is just so good, and especially because it automatically charges his hypercharge, so it just allows you to cycle through multiple hypercharges in a game. Lastly, in the star power list, we have Blustery Blow with Gale. So whenever you super an opponent, it stuns them for 1.2 seconds. The other star power was always the better one, but now with this meta with just so much aggression, and it pairs so beautifully with the hypercharge, you just need to buy this one. Now we're going to be jumping into the best gadgets in the new meta, starting off with Shelly's clay pigeons. It's always one of the best gadgets in the game, but now with tanks, it's even more essential to pop clay pigeons, get that extra supercharge, and just cycle with shell shock. It's such a dirty combination. So we have Barley's gadget, Herbal Tonic. So whenever you throw out your gadget, you can heal up to you and 2 teammates for 720 health per second, which is insane. It's really good for control, but it's really good in knockout right now, because once the gas closes in and you pop this gadget, everyone's getting heals, and it's just so easy to stay alive. So we have Tuning Fork with Poco. So whenever you pop the gadget, you'll heal for 740 for 5 seconds, you and your teammates around you, which is really good. This got buffed a couple of months ago, and it's just made Poco even more of a threat. Next, we have Satchel Charge with Dynamite. So you stun an opponent for 1.5 seconds when you hit your next shot, which this actually is one of the best gadgets in the game, because you can stun someone and just deal absurd amount of damage with your super hypercharge, whatever else in combination. Rico Star Power Multiple Launcher is next, and even though it got nerfed a little bit with the damage, it's still essential to have with Rico. Just adding the DPS and making sure that you don't get countered by your typical counters like Kit and Edgar, because they can't jump on you as long as you've got one of these gadgets. Next up, we have Piper's gadgets. So I'd say both of these gadgets are essential, because if you play Bounty or Knockout, you definitely need Homemade Recipe, and then everything else you definitely need Auto Aimer. So both gadgets are so strong. Next up, we have Active Noise Cancellation with Frank. So now with Frank being meta, he's cycling a lot of supers, he's cycling a lot of hypercharges, so making sure that there's no brawler that can interrupt that hypercharge just means you can just delete the whole lobby, so it's essential. Next up, we have Griff's gadget called Piggy Bank. So whenever you pop the gadget, it will destroy a little bit of the map, but this is the main reason why Griff is played in competitive, to break open the map really easily, and if you have 4 of these gadgets, you can counter so many different compositions. Next up, we have Colette's gadget called Gotcha. So you'll heal up to 80% of the opponent's HP, and you have it for 5 seconds, so you can heal a lot throughout the whole opponent's composition. The reason why this is so good is because you dash in, you probably will get weak once you return, and then you can pop gadget, just aim for an enemy that is got a lot more HP than the person you've supered, and you could just keep up this cycle, and it pairs really well as well with the shield stop out. Next up, we have Phase Shifter with Max. So whenever you dash, it means you're literally invincible to anything that's coming your way. So if you want to tank like a Piper Shot or a heavy damage super, you can easily do that with this gadget. Next up, we have Buster's gadget, Slow-Mo Replay. So even when they remove the slow effect with this gadget, it's still essential for Buster, because the way that you want to play him, you want to pop the super, push close to the opponents, and then gadget them close, and by the time you've gadgeted them, you can just take them down so quickly. The next up, we have one of the best gadgets in the game with Out of Line with RT. So essentially, you can pop your super straight away. So if like a Kit or a Lily wants to go close to you, you can instantly delete them, and because of this, it means assassins or whatever else are just fully hard countered just by this gadget alone. Next up, we have Melody's gadget called Interlude. So whenever you have more notes, so up to 3 notes, you get a 30% shield, which is really good with Melody, especially since the HP nerf. I think this gadget is even more essential. Next up, we have Lily's gadget called Vanish. So this is one of the most broken gadgets in the game. You go into the Shadow Realm for 3 seconds. The reason why it's so good, a click of a button, you can escape death. Click of a button, you can go from bush to bush and remain undetected. You can use it aggressively, defensively. It's just completely broken. Next we have Amber's gadget, Dancing Flames. So this is the reason why Amber's so meta, is because she can rip through tanks, especially when they're behind a wall. You're going to deal up to like 4k damage in an instant with this gadget, so you definitely need it. And moving into the final broken gadget, we have Draco's gadget, Last Stand. So it means that you can't fall below 1 HP once you pop this gadget for 2 seconds. The reason why this is just so broken is because there's no counterplay to it. The only counterplay to it is just to wait for this gadget to expire and then try and take him down. But if you combine it with the Shredding Star Power, or combine this gadget with like a Byron heal, Poco heal, etc., it means you're pretty much invincible. So I just abuse this gadget. It's just done broken mechanically. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Let me know down in the comment section below whether I missed out on any star powers or gadgets that have got a lot better within the new meta. It's just been absolutely chaotic, so you'll probably see a few changes with this list. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.